Yo guys, and welcome to my review of episode 4 of Pokemon Horizons. Now, I am a little bit late with this, I've been pretty busy, um, but this was actually a pretty big episode, despite the fact that it was obviously Roy's debut, but Roy himself also gave us a lot of interesting questions here. So obviously the main plot of this episode was that Fuecoco went missing, so Liko and Sprigatito went to look for it. You know, very standard basic. We are still at the very beginning of the show, so the first few kind of episodes are, just gonna be very introduction, meeting the characters and everything like that. I think we were all used to this by now, but we see Freed meet, I guess it was his former mentor, or like I guess a professor, and we find out that Freed himself is actually a professor in some way. That's a direct quote from him, where Liko asks, "Are you a professor?" Like she asks, "You're a professor?" And he says, "In a way." So what exactly he is, we don't know. Maybe he's like a former professor, right? He maybe didn't like what he did, or something went south. We'll probably find that out in the future. Um, but the main big point of this is Roy and his Pokeball. Now, from what we know so far, Roy says that it was given to him by his grandfather. So just like Liko got her pendant from her grandmother, Roy got it from his grandfather, and he said that it belonged to an old traveler who used to go around the world fighting legendaries and collecting ancient artifacts. I've heard some people say, "Oh, this might be Ash." I doubt it, because while this show very easily could be in the future, I don't think it's, from the look of it, I don't think it's that far in the future to say that Ash was an ancient traveler, right? And we never got any kind of Pokeball like this, right? Apart from the, what was it, the GS ball or whatever, the one he got in like Johto or something, or actually I think it was Orange Islands. He didn't have any other exclusive Pokeballs. He just used normal ones most of the time. So this ancient Pokeball being owned by Ash, from what we know, doesn't make sense. And again, it being an ancient artifact wouldn't make sense just because of the way the world looks, right? If this world was very high tech, right, and you can easily tell that it's in the future, then sure, fine. But we don't technically even know if this show is in any kind of timeline, with the normal anime that we've been following for all these years, right? This could be a completely alternative universe where none of the other adventures that Ash and Pikachu and all of these people had existed. So I think now the question of what exactly this Pokeball is, who it originally belonged to, that's going to be very fascinating, and I'm super excited to see what exactly this is. It will probably take a little while for us to get there, but I'm excited to see that. We know that there's something with that shiny Terra Rayquaza that we've seen in the trailers and stuff. So, a lot of questions this episode. Again, this series so far has been very it has a basic plot, right? Where every episode has some kind of very simple thing, where episode 1 was Liko just going to school, episode 2 was her trying to escape the explorers, last episode was just them trying to gets Brigatito back, and now this was trying to find where Fuecoco went. But every episode, despite very simple and plot points, everything had some kind of mysterious stuff in it, right? With the pendant and Freed as a professor, and just this whole mystery of this Pokeball and the explorers as a whole. I This is a very, very interesting way of doing this, and I think it makes sense just because we are at the start, so you don't want to go too hard into this plot from the start, but you still want to set some things up, and I think they're doing really good so far. But tell me your guys' thoughts. Did you like the episode? Did you think it was a bit too simple for Roy's debut? We know next week is when he's officially going to be joining the crew, so that's going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, that's it, and I'll see you guys next time.